Good afternoon, Cowboys Nation. How's it going today? Cowboys struggling in here, limping in at 3-4, limping being the key word. Unfortunately, news broke prior to this episode that we will be without DaRon Bland another week at minimum, and Mr. Parsons another week. Jerry, I hope you're taking note, my friend. So far 0-2 when Parsons does not play this year. I know there's a lot of other injuries, but Micah's just a huge injury to overcome. Easily one of the top 3 defensive players in the league when he's healthy. And to understand that when I say when he's healthy, there are players out there that just cannot stay out of the trainer's room. Micah's not one of those. It's a rarity that he deals with injuries or injuries that keep him off the field. The line, his heart, he wants to be on the field all the time. But just keep note when you're sitting there debating about the contract coming up this offseason, how important Micah is to this overall success of this team. And I know it's going to be difficult putting a team around him. Now, unfortunately, Trayvon Diggs is going to be a game time decision. And as of his availability, as he's dealing with a calf injury from the 49ers game. So if you calculate that, no DaRon Bland, potential no Trayvon Diggs, no Amore Awari that's been ever how you pronounce that name. Michael usually does that on Dad and the Boys because I struggle with it. Whatever happened to Smith and Jones and Jackson, something real easy to pronounce. So, I mean, he's been the starter for the last few weeks as we've dealt with Bland being out. I guess Booth moves up the depth pool. Kalen Carson is looking like he's going to be a go this week, so that will be a welcome addition. But we need Trayvon there too. We can't have him out. Jourdan Lewis, steady man, Mr. Steady. And there again, with Trayvon, he's done really well coming back from his injury. And it's a struggle on the back end. I know a lot of media folks are shedding a lot of heat on the secondary, shedding it on Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker and the fact that we're not getting turnovers. Well, it's a complimentary football. If the offense is not scoring and not putting pressure on the other opposing offense, they don't have to take as many chances. If we can't get pressure consistently on the quarterback and stop the run with our defensive linemen, then they can just sit back there and wait till the guy comes open. And, it's hard on the secondary to sit there and cover without putting your hands on them, getting them on a first down or holding. So, I mean, that's a very difficult task because they know where they're going. You don't know where they're going. So, I mean, and you're covering them for seconds upon seconds and on the football field. I was just going to throw out that, Jerry, if you need help in the secondary, I'm available, my friend. I'm cheap. I'm not fast, but I am cheap. I run a 40 in about 5 or 6 minutes. So I don't know what that'll help you, but I got 5 yards to chuck them. I will knock them on their rear. They might not want to get up. So we need something. We need somebody to step up and make a play. This is going to be a tough contest. Kirk Cousins been doing really well, throwing the ball. Of course, you're facing Bijan Robinson as a running back. Kyle Pitts has been doing really well as a tight end for the last few games. As he's getting him and Cousins is building that relationship. So we do need our secondary step up, but we also need our defensive line to generate pressure. I think we got credited with 2 sacks last game, but the only one I vaguely remember or definitely remember was Overshawn's sack there in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter. Overshawn needs to rush the passer a little bit more, especially with Micah not being on there. And I think Overshawn's a blessing in disguise. He has really, really been the bright spot of this defense right now. Leo Fowl, we need you to step up. Kendricks, we definitely need you on the field, quarterback in that defense. Because in the first half, they really did a fantastic job against the 49ers. The third quarter just struggled. It was definitely not their quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, they locked back down some. It boils down to this, it's hard to play a 60-minute game. And when you're on defense and your time of possession's not in your favor, it makes it more difficult. So offense, we need you to control the ball, but we need you to be putting up scores. Like Mike McCarthy said, every possession needs to end in a kick. And that is preferably an extra point. If not, then a field goal or a punt. Those are successful drives. Because one, you're not turning the ball over, giving the other team a short field, which really was the storyline of the third quarter last week. There's no excuse. I mean, other team gets paid to make plays, but you've got to protect the ball, period. There is no better correlation to a win-loss record than turnover margins and turnovers, other than scoring. So, I mean, again, Dak, protect the ball. Offensive line, you need to step up in your pass protection. Terrence Steele, you need to not be the turnstile Steele. You need to take in, I haven't heard your name called for holding that much this year, but there again, you got to put a hand on them to hold them. And I know you've been going up against some great competition. Now, Matthew Jourdan, I'm not going to lay shade on him. He's had a successful career in the NFL. He is not on the level of Bosa or TJ Watt or any of those individuals or, Garrett that we played in Cleveland. But he is a talent. So, I mean, we do need to stop him and give Dak some time. We need to open up running lanes for our running backs. Zeke looked like he had the juice last week. There were times he would get the ball and the defender would meet him in the backfield. Same with the other running back that we activated for the first time last week. So, I mean, if you're not blocking and opening lanes, nobody's going to be able to run through there. That's one reason that Barry Sanders had so many negative runs during his career. And there's not many running backs that are more electrifying than Barry Sanders. Emmett very seldom had a tackle for loss throughout his early career in Dallas, simply because that offensive line was opening up holes for him to at least get to the line of scrimmage and then make his moves through to get positive gains. Guys, it all starts in the offensive line. Ours has to be a positive. It has to be opening up lanes. It has to be protecting for the quarterback. And we need theirs to be weak. We need to stop and have penetration into the backfield. We need to be generating pressure on the quarterback, stopping running lanes, filling the gaps, everybody doing their job, not trying to play hero ball, but when you've got so many injuries, that often is the case. Everybody wants to make that play, wrap up and tackle, fill the lanes. All right. So folks, that's an updated injury report for this week. If you watch Dad and the Boys, you'll know that my prediction was Dallas by 3. Hopefully that will be come to pass and it will age well. After this weekend, that would get us back to a 500 record, which we really need going forward over the next few weeks. to even have a chance in this NFC East, to have a chance at a playoff spot. Once you get to the playoffs, anything's possible. Hopefully, as we get some of these players back from injury and get them contributing again, we will see improvement. Hopefully, Dak and CD can continue to expand on the connection that they made this past week and get their career, season turned back around. But if you're listening to us on Fans First Sports Network, we're going to take a brief commercial break to allow time for our sponsors. And then we're going to take and come back with the next 5 on the edition of my favorite 100. Welcome back to Starstruck with Mack Davis. We look forward to this part of the segment because I get to provide you with my top 100 players that have ever donned the star of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, notice I did say players. I had to do that simply because, one, if I said my favorite top 100 Cowboys, there is nobody other than Tom Landry that would be at the top of that list. There's nobody that could put it there. Not Jerry Jones, not Jimmy Johnson, who I love Jimmy Johnson. The only thing was Jimmy was my favorite college coach when he came take over the Cowboys. And I knew that he would turn the program around because at that last part, of Landry's career, it had gone stale. It had been in decline. So I was, although it broke my heart that Landry left, there was the fact that we had Jimmy coming on. And then we had the success of the Cowboys of the 90s. He was a wheeler dealer. Him and Jerry combined to bring us 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. I'm hoping that Jerry can work with McCarthy and Will McClay to bring us another one here soon. It's a struggle right now, but let's go to start with number 90 in my countdown. Again, it is players, and then the rules of this top 100 is this: you had to don the star for 1 year. You could play other parts of your career, or you could have a 1-year career. It did not matter, but you had to wear the star for 1 year. And coming in at number 90, Maurice Claiborne. I was so excited when we drafted Mo Claiborne. And then what does he do? He goes out and gets him a souped up ride, all decked out with his number 24 and Cowboys decals and everything. And that just made me fall in love with him more. Unfortunately, for Claiborne, his Cowboy career, as you can see, was short. And most of that was due to injuries. I mean, he just never could get his footing under him. But I still loved him. I had such high hopes that he would be there. He would be our next Deion Sanders shutdown corner. It just never developed to that point. He never, and he was coming into the league following the likes of Patrick Peterson, who's, I think, still playing actually, as an LSU grad. And Mo just never got to that level, especially during his Dallas Cowboys career. Some even call him a first-round bust. I don't, because, again, it was injuries. It wasn't a lack of talent. It wasn't, anything else. Now, you could say that part of that first-round bust was the fact that what we gave up to get him. He was a consensus top 5 pick, and we got him at number 6, but we had to give up a package deal to get that position to be able to draft him. And I just wish that Mo's career would have lasted a lot longer in Dallas and that it would have flourished like expected when he came out of college. But nonetheless, I love Mo Claiborne. I wish him nothing best in life. I don't know if he's still playing. He was playing within the last couple of years, but again, like a lot of Dallas Cowboys, when you leave the organization, I tend to not follow you as much, what you're doing and all. But then moving right along to another compadre, number 89, Mr. Kevin Smith, the cornerback. You notice when he came on 1992, he kind of solidified that that defensive backfield in 92 and was a great contributor through the years. He himself also, if I'm not mistaken, battled a few injuries here and there, but he had a great career. 8 years, 9 years in the Dallas Cowboy organization, was a super talented cornerback. And you put him back there with Deion Sanders, a little bit, not a bad combination, which helped flourish him. But I mean, awesome young man, class act the whole time. And that was the same way with Mo Claiborne, class act, represented the star very well. Sometimes, as a player, your career can have a trajectory and you be a superstar. Sometimes you'll be a role player. Sometimes you'll feel a need. You'll be a star, but you won't have that Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman effect. But you play your role and you represent the organization and the fan base in a positive light. And that goes a long way in my book. And Kevin Smith did that throughout his career in the Dallas Cowboy organization. You never had to listen to him being in the headlines for negative instances. And he had a successful career. So thank you for being number 89 in this top 100, Mr. Kevin Smith. And moving right along, going a little bit into my youth, that Dallas defense, man, with Harvey Mark, Ed Too Tall Jones, Randy White. Now, although his career started a little bit before my lifetime, as a Dallas Cowboy, I remember Jethro Pugh. Man, played defensive end, defensive tackle. What an awesome talent. It was nothing to hear. Sacked by Pugh, tackled by Pugh. Made my childhood really special. And for that, you get number 88. Now, at number 88 is a very, very, very distinct and highly esteemed number in the organization, and no less in this top 100. Jethro Pugh stands at 88, and it's well deserved, as he was a stalwart on that defensive line. Boy, I wish we had him. I'd give anything to have Randy White, Jethro Pugh clogging up the middle of our defensive line right now. Now, no offense to Mozzie Smith or OC. Whew. Talk about stopping the run, baby. That would be a different story. And I think Randy White, even at his age, could probably still go out there and play. But Jethro was awesome in it. And not to be outdone by Jethro, the next guest, again, started right before I was born and played up until my teen years, Mr. Larry Cole. Oh, man, what a dude. We were stacked. There's no other way to say it. We were stacked. I miss those days. I miss a lot of fans get in the NFL get high on free agency. I'm not a big fan of free agency because I fall in love with players and I see them play and I root for them and and I enjoy watching them. I watch them develop over their career, and it's like, wow, you see them grow up before your eyes on the screen. And it's so amazing. And just right now, just as you're getting used to their names, a lot of times for a lot of guys not drafted in the first couple of rounds, a lot of times it's like by the time you see what they got, they're gone. And they're off to greener pastures. That might be because of more money. It might be because somebody on the depth chart, they just can't have that break to be a starter and get starter money. And next thing you know, they're playing elsewhere. DeMarco Murray, man, he left Dallas and went to Philly. Ooh, that was not good in my book, bro. That was not a good move on your part either, but it just like you're leaving your fan base. It's kind of like the New York Giants right now. Saquon Barkley, leaving and going to Philly. Granted, Saquon, hey, you did it for you and your family, but those Giants fans, and my heart goes out to them because as a fan, it's kind of like watching Montana in a Kansas City Chief uniform. Now, don't get me wrong, I was glad that he left the 49ers, but some things just aren't right. It's like Emmett in a Cardinals uniform. It's just some things just aren't right. Brett Favre in the Jets or the Vikings, even. Vikings probably worse because, here you are, you would be in Green Bay your entire career, and then you go to the Jets, and then next thing you know, you're in the Vikings organization. Tom Brady in Tampa. As a fan, it's heartbreaking. It's great for the organization that picks them up and kind of gives themselves a boost. But you know what? Be better at the draft. Be better at recruiting young players coming out of college. But this, I'm not a big proponent of free agency. And who can be as a Dallas Cowboy fan, Cowboys Nation, because our owner doesn't partake. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I told Jerry earlier, I am cheap and I have nothing wrong with a $5 bin at Walmart or, looking for something. But bro, we can't be doing that in free agency because we don't, you can to fill certain holes, but you need to be stocking the shelves with some prime A grade talent so we can go and try to win a championship. But no, Mr. Jones prevalently and expectedly will shop at that $5 bin day in and day out. Never fails. He's in the $5 bin. He doesn't even look over there on the other shelves or the other aisles. He's all about that. Ooh, I can make a deal. And if you watch and if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, you realize that because he would do that in the second round every year. Oh, this player's got an injury problem. This player's got personal issues. Thank you, Randy Gregory. For whatever reason, now all of a sudden this person's in the second round. And, and that very seldom in all honesty has worked out for Mr. Jones. Sean Lee, yeah, Lee had a great career, but Lee also had several injuries throughout his career. So there wasn't a lot of positives. Now, one I will say, and it was a little bit before he started really doing that, the small school route, went with Larry Allen. Now that kind of worked out in the second round. But for the most part, in Jones's administration, second round's not been talented because a lot of times he takes that bargain bin or that discount, if you will, now sometimes it's just that the talent is so stacked, we land a Trayvon Diggs in the second round and that's perfect. But generally second round for Mr. Jones doesn't work out. And a lot of it's that bargain bin shopping. I wish we could find a Larry Cole in the bargain bin or a Jethro Pugh. They don't exist, folks. Moving to number 86. And as we wrap up this episode today, this is a current Cowboy, folks. Mr. Jourdan Lewis. Jourdan, you come here and the two top picks in that draft were Taco Charlton, probably one of the most criticized picks we've had in a long time because we passed on TJ Watt. Hindsight's 2020, but you didn't even need hindsight. You had his brother down in Houston kicking butt and taking names, and you're going to say, ooh, that didn't fall off the family tree? Come on now. Thank you, Rob Marinelli. You wanted a taco. Well, bro, I don't even hardly eat Mexican food anymore because of that. And then we go in the second round and we get Cheeto Awuzie. And now, if I'm not mistaken, he's having a career elsewhere. He stayed with us for a little while. He developed a little bit. And then in the third round of that year, we got Mr. Jourdan Lewis. Jourdan just seems to make plays. Jourdan's a good kid. Jourdan has, I mean, you don't hear about any negative publicity for Jourdan throughout and stuff. So, I mean, you know, why would I put Jourdan Lewis at 86? He's a great nickel cornerback, and he fills in some when the other injuries are going. He's consistent. He's there. He has battled injury a little bit in his career too, but you know what? I mean, why would I put him at number 86? Well, if no other reason, what I was just talking about, free agency. Jourdan Lewis this past year could have went east to Washington and followed Dan Quinn. Could have got more money and followed Dan Quinn. But Mr. Lewis said, nah, I like Dallas. And if y'all have me back, I'll take a little bit less money and I'll stay home. And that's enough for me, Mack Davis, to put Jourdan Lewis in my top 100. And Jourdan, just like some of the other players that his careers have not ended, you still have a chance to continue to move up on that top 100. You know, like Cooper Beebe Bra, you moving up. You're gonna eventually work your way if you keep on going like you're going into the top 20, 25, maybe even top 10. Who knows? We shall see. Folks, that wraps up my episode today. I apologize. But next week we'll get 85 through 81 in here, and we'll see where we're at. Now, in the words of the great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, well, augmented words of American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, because he used to say the American Dream, number one. Second to none, has no equals. Well, I'm going to abbreviate that, augment it a little bit, but from the face that made the face that runs Boom Broadcasting, second to none and has no equals, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. Number one on the football field, number one in your hearts. Have a great week. Have an awesome weekend. Go Cowboys, beat them Falcons, and see you here next week, folks.